So Eddie Hearn claims that Anthony Joshua fully intends to continue working with Derrick James long term, but for this particular fight with Otto Wallin, he'll have Ben Davison in his corner as the head coach for whatever reason. Now, many people understandably think that Anthony Joshua, depending on how this fight with Otto Wallin goes, might actually ditch Derrick James and hire Ben Davison as his full-time coach moving forward. Whatever the case may be, in a previous video where I spoke briefly about this link-up, I expressed my concern about the fact that Ben Davison at one point was Tyson Fury's trainer, but he was more than that. He was a Tyson Fury sycophant. He was a Tyson Fury cult member. Yeah, it's like a cult there with Tyson Fury. Anybody connected to his camp seems to get sucked in and they start worshipping the Gypsy King. It's the strangest thing. And during that time when Ben Davison was in the Fury cult, he once said that Tyson Fury does everything better than Anthony Joshua. Yes, everything. Faster, stronger, hits harder, better combination puncher, better left hook, better right hand, better jab, better uppercut, better on the inside, better on the outside, better everywhere in every aspect. Now, if you said that Tyson Fury is a better fighter overall than Anthony Joshua, no problem. But to say that he does everything better than him is obviously not true. There are certain things that Anthony Joshua does better than Tyson Fury. The fact that Ben Davison couldn't see that was a measure of how infatuated he was with Fury for one, and how little he thought of Anthony Joshua as a fighter. So if you're gonna hire a guy like that as your trainer long term, when your ultimate goal is to actually fight and beat Tyson Fury, you can see how problematic it is. You're going into a fight against the Gypsy King, you got Ben Davison in your corner, who doesn't really believe you can win. He's just there for the money. That's not the kind of energy that you need, especially somebody like Anthony Joshua, who isn't as psychologically strong as some of his peers. You need someone who's really gonna believe in you deep down in their soul, so that confidence then rubs off on you. Now, with all that being said, if you take this Tyson Fury aspect out of the equation, as far as Ben Davison being a Fury fanboy and all that type of stuff, and just look at Ben Davison as Anthony Joshua's trainer, let's just say for the upcoming Wallin fight, I actually think he might be a good fit for him. Long-time viewers on my channel will know that I've been an advocate for Ben Davison for a good couple years. When everybody's calling him boxer-sized Ben and saying he's no good and he just got all these gigs training high-profile fighters off the back of being Tyson Fury's friend, etc., I was saying no. You're being unduly harsh to Ben Davison. The work he's done with several fighters has been impressive, and people didn't want to give him credit, particularly for the work he's done with Lee Wood. You may remember after he beat Mauricio Lara the second time, I was saying all you haters need to actually give Ben Davison some credit now. And it's not that I'm a Ben Davison fanboy, I'm not, but I think if we're going to be fair and be objective, he's much better than a lot of his critics are making him out to be as a trainer. Now, why do I think he would be a good fit for Anthony Joshua, the Fury stuff aside? Ben Davison has an extremely analytical mind. He sees things that many other people don't see, little nuances, and he articulates it fantastically well. He explains himself very, very well. Anthony Joshua is the kind of fighter who is not very intuitive. He needs step-by-step instructions, what to do every round in a fight. And if you're going to deliver that for him, you need to be someone like Ben Davison who's good at it, who knows how to put the message across with all the fine details that Anthony Joshua requires, because he can't figure it out for himself despite the fact he's a veteran at this point. Strange, but it is what it is. Anthony Joshua wants someone in the corner who's got answers for him. Ben Davison's got those answers. They might not be the right answers necessarily. We'll have to see how their partnership works out, but he'll have some type of answers, and that's what Anthony Joshua needs to hear. And of course, he was in Tyson Fury's corner when Fury beat Otto Wallin. So Ben Davison knows something about this upcoming opponent and how to defeat him. So for a one-off, I don't think it's bad necessarily, as long as Ben Davison knows AJ well enough from having him in his gym over the past few months to be able to guide him through a fight. But as I say, long-term, I don't think it's a good idea. And you do wonder why Derrick James isn't going to be training AJ for this fight, why he won't be in his corner. I find that odd because Ben Davison is not going to have the same vision for what Anthony Joshua should be as a fighter and what he should be doing, as Derrick James has. Anthony Joshua's last 2 performances were not great, but I expected that from a technical perspective at least, because there's usually teething problems when a fighter switches trainers. It takes a couple fights for them to gel. Amir Khan is an example. When he first hooked up with Virgil Hunter, his first couple of performances were not good at all, but I think it was his 3rd performance on, I believe that was the Louis Collazo fight, they clicked, and Khan put together some of the best performances of his whole career. Certainly Louis Collazo, Devon Alexander, schooled him. That fight wasn't even competitive. Bear in mind, Devon Alexander did beat Marcus Maidana and he beat him well. Obviously, Khan beat Maidana as well, but Devon Alexander beat Maidana more comfortably, much more comfortably than anybody else, including Mayweather. Go back and watch that fight. So I'm not saying Alexander was elite, but he was a good fighter in his day. Khan schooled him. He had a structure under Virgil Hunter, a defensive construct, step-by-step instructions, a father-type figure. Again, like Anthony Joshua, Khan was not a very intuitive fighter. So I still think that if AJ sticks with Derrick James, they will eventually click. I think that's what he should do. I'm not saying that he can't have a good result under Ben Davison, but long term, if he's going to target Fury and he's got this Fury ex-cult member in his corner, I don't think it's a good look. Davison might not be in the Fury cult anymore. He might not be an official member anymore, but that doesn't mean that he's not still pining for Tyson Fury when he goes to bed every night. You know, Fury seems to have this effect on people, a lot of people that are close to him. It's the strangest thing. You know, Ben Davison might still be heartbroken, crying himself to sleep at night over the fact that Fury's moved on. I'm being a bit facetious, obviously, but you get the point I'm making. So anyway, I'll leave it there. And before I go, I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers to my Patreon page. I cover loads of different topics in my weekly podcast, as you can see on screen right now, from current events to deep dives down the rabbit hole and everything in between. I'm really enjoying the feedback and the discussions we've been having on there lately. So if you'd like to join the conversation, just click the link in the description box below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.